Welcome back to my channel, an exciting journey into the world of rare coins, where even a simple 5-cent piece can hold a story full of mystery and hidden value. Today, we're taking a closer look at the fascinating 1996 Jefferson nickel, featuring the legendary American figure Thomas Jefferson. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, but what if it carries a secret that could change everything? Could this small piece of metal be more valuable than you ever imagined? Stay with us as we uncover the truth, explore its history, and reveal whether this coin has the power to transform your fortune overnight. The 1996 Jefferson nickel, minted in the United States and bearing the iconic image of Thomas Jefferson, is a coin that often sparks curiosity among collectors and beginners alike. While at first glance it may appear to be an ordinary 5-cent coin, its true story lies in the details, its condition, mint mark, and any rare errors that may exist. Coins from this year were struck for everyday circulation, yet over time, certain examples have become more desirable due to their preservation and uniqueness. In 1996, the United States Mint produced Jefferson nickels at multiple facilities, including Philadelphia, which is represented by the P mint mark on your coin. This small letter can be found on the obverse side of the coin near Jefferson's portrait. While millions of these coins were made, only a fraction remain in higher grades today, making condition one of the most important factors in determining value. A coin described as ungraded but in good condition suggests that it is visible wear but still retains much of its original detail. In numismatics, good condition typically means the coin has circulated and shows signs of use, such as softened features or slight scratches. While such a coin is not considered rare by default, its historical presence still holds interest, especially for collectors building complete date-hand mint sets. The design of the 1996 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, while the reverse showcases his historic home, Monticello. This design has been a staple of the nickel series for decades and represents both American heritage and architectural elegance. Even in worn condition, the Monticello structure remains a recognizable and admired feature. Now let's address the exciting claim that such a coin could be worth millions of dollars. In reality, most 1996 Jefferson nickels, even those with a P mint mark, are quite common. In circulated good condition, they are typically worth only their face value or slightly above it. However, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises and rare exceptions do exist. What truly elevates a coin's value into extraordinary territory is the presence of minting errors or extremely high-grade preservation. For example, coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet errors can attract serious attention from collectors. If a 1996 nickel were discovered with a dramatic and unique error, its value could increase significantly, though reaching millions would still be exceptionally rare. Another factor that could increase value is if the coin remains in near-perfect condition, often referred to as mint state. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services are far more desirable than circulated examples. However, finding a 1996 nickel in such pristine condition, especially one that has been used in daily transactions, is quite uncommon. The idea of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single coin is an exciting and viral concept, often used in storytelling and online content. While it captures attention, it's important to balance excitement with reality. Most valuable coins that sell for millions, such as rare early American coins or unique historical pieces, are well documented and widely known in the numismatic community. That said, your coin should never be dismissed without proper inspection. Sometimes, what appears ordinary can hold hidden value. Examining the coin under good lighting, checking for unusual markings, or even comparing it to known error varieties can reveal surprising details. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help bring out features that are not visible to the naked eye. If you believe your 1996 Jefferson nickel might be special, you may consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. These organizations authenticate, grade, and encapsulate coins, giving them a certified status that can increase buyer confidence. While not every coin will turn out to be rare, the process itself adds credibility and clarity. Collectors are often driven not only by value but by the story behind each coin. The 1996 Jefferson nickel represents a piece of everyday American life from the late 20th century. It passed through countless hands, witnessing small transactions and moments in history, making it more than just metal. It becomes a silent storyteller. In the coin market, demand plays a crucial role. Even if a coin is not extremely rare, it can still hold value if collectors are actively seeking it to complete their collections. Jefferson nickels remain a popular series, especially among beginners, because they are accessible and rich in history. Ultimately, while your 1996 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in good condition is unlikely to be worth millions, it still holds value as a collectible and historical artifact. The true power of such a coin lies not in unrealistic promises, but in the excitement of discovery and the journey into the world of coin collecting. So don't rush to spend it or sell it without understanding what you have. Take a closer look, learn its details, and appreciate its place in history. Whether it turns out to be ordinary or unexpectedly special, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than money itself. The next up, top 2, the 1980 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running U.S. 5-cent series that features President Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the back. By 1980, this coin had already been in production for over 4 decades, quietly passing through millions of hands in everyday transactions. While it may seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, collectors know that even common coins can hide surprising stories and occasional hidden value. The 1980 nickel was minted primarily in 2 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small d. Your coin with the D mint mark was produced at the Denver Mint, which struck hundreds of millions of these coins that year. Because of this high production, most 1980 D nickels are considered common in circulated condition, meaning they were used in daily commerce and show wear from handling over time. In typical good or circulated condition, a 1980 D Jefferson nickel usually holds a value close to its face value, just 5 cents. However, the story becomes more interesting when condition improves. Coins that are well preserved with sharp details and minimal wear can be worth more to collectors, especially if they still retain their original luster or have never been circulated. The idea that a 1980 nickel could be worth millions overnight is exciting, but it's important to understand the reality. No standard 1980 D Jefferson nickel has ever sold for millions of dollars. However, certain rare error coins or exceptionally high-grade specimens can reach much higher values than normal coins. These are the types of coins that create headlines and spark treasure-hunting dreams. One of the key factors that can increase the value of your coin is the presence of minting errors. These errors happen during production and can include doubled dies, where the design appears slightly duplicated, off-center strikes or planchet errors, problems with the metal blank. A 1980 D nickel with a strong and visible error could be worth significantly more than a normal one, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. Another important factor is grading. Professional grading companies examine coins under magnification and assign a condition score. Coins graded at the very top levels, such as mint state 65 or higher, can command premium prices. A 1980 D nickel in near-perfect condition with full details on Monticello and a flawless surface could be worth much more than a worn example. Collectors also pay attention to something called full steps on the Monticello building. If the steps at the base of Monticello are fully visible and sharply defined, the coin becomes more desirable. These full steps nickels are harder to find because even slight wear or weak strikes can blur these details. A 1980 D nickel with full steps in high grade can attract serious collector interest. The composition of the 1980 nickel is another interesting detail. It is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it its distinctive silver-like appearance. Unlike some older U.S. coins that contain silver, the 1980 nickel does not have precious metal value. Its worth comes purely from collectability, condition, and rarity, not from the metal itself. History also plays a role in the appeal of this coin. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and has remained one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The 1980 version represents a continuation of this tradition during a time when the United States was experiencing economic changes, inflation, and evolving coin production methods. It's also worth noting that many claims online about million-dollar nickels are exaggerated or misleading. While rare coins can indeed sell for high prices, these are usually unique cases involving extreme rarity, historical significance, or one-of-a-kind errors. A regular 1980 D nickel, even in good condition, will not make someone a billionaire overnight. That said, the excitement of coin collecting comes from the possibility of discovery. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, a rare variation or overlooked detail can turn an ordinary piece into something special. Carefully examining your coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass can reveal features that might increase its value. If you believe your coin might be special, the next step is to have it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or grading service. They can confirm whether it has any rare characteristics, errors, or exceptional quality that could make it more valuable in the collector's market. Preservation is also important. Keeping your coin in a protective holder away from moisture and handling can help maintain its condition. Even small scratches or fingerprints can reduce a coin's value, so proper care is essential if you think your coin might be worth more than face value. In the end, the 1980 D. Jefferson nickel is a fascinating piece of everyday history. While it may not be a hidden million-dollar treasure in most cases, it still carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the enduring image of Monticello. For collectors and enthusiasts, its true value lies not just in money, but in the thrill of the hunt and the stories it represents. The next up, top 3. The 2002 United States 5-cent coin, widely known as the Jefferson nickel, is a familiar piece of American currency that carries both historical charm and collector interest. Featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse, this coin represents continuity in U.S. coinage design that has existed since 1938. Many collectors are drawn to modern coins like the 2002 nickel not because they are extremely rare, but because they can still hold hidden value depending on condition, mint mark, and unusual errors. The 2002 nickel was minted in large numbers, especially at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark on the coin. While millions were produced, not all coins are equal. A standard circulated 2002 D nickel is generally worth only a small amount above face value, often just a few cents to a dollar. However, when a coin is preserved in exceptional condition, what collectors call uncirculated or mint state, its value can increase significantly, especially if graded highly by professionals. The idea that a regular 2002 Jefferson nickel could instantly make someone a billionaire is, realistically, a myth. Coins that reach millions in value are usually extremely rare, historically unique, or tied to major minting errors. However, that does not mean your coin is worthless. In fact, certain rare error varieties such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors can make a 2002 nickel worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. One of the most important factors in determining value is condition. A coin described as good condition typically shows wear, which reduces its value. However, if your coin has strong detail, minimal scratches, and a clean surface, it may be worth having it evaluated. Professional grading services can assign it a grade, and higher grades often mean higher prices in the collector market. Another interesting aspect is the composition of the coin. The 2002 Jefferson nickel is made of a copper-nickel alloy, which gives it a slightly copper-colored edge. This is completely normal and not a sign of rarity. However, unusual coloration or metal errors, if verified, can sometimes increase value. Collectors also look for coins with strong eye appeal. This includes brightness, luster, and overall attractiveness. A 2002 D nickel that appears almost brand new, even after years, can attract collectors who want high-quality modern coins for their collections. The historical significance of the Jefferson nickel adds to its appeal. It connects collectors to early American history through the image of Thomas Jefferson and his architectural masterpiece, Monticello. While the 2002 version is modern, it still carries this legacy, making it more than just a simple coin. If you believe your coin might be special, it is wise not to rush into selling it at a low price. Instead, carefully inspect it for errors, unusual features, or exceptional condition. Taking clear photographs and comparing them with known error coins can help you understand its potential. It is also important to understand that the coin market is driven by demand. Even if a coin is rare, it needs interested buyers to reach a high price. Some modern coins have surprised collectors by increasing in value over time, especially as fewer high-quality examples remain available. While stories of coins worth millions can be exciting and inspiring, they often involve extremely rare cases that are well documented in numismatic history. The 2002 Jefferson nickel, in most cases, is not among those legendary coins, but rare exceptions can exist, and that is what keeps collectors searching. Ultimately, your coin may not make you a billionaire overnight, but it could still hold meaningful value, especially if it has unique characteristics. Treat it carefully, store it properly, and consider having it professionally evaluated if you suspect it is special. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, discovery, and the thrill of finding something unusual in an everyday object. Even a simple 2002 nickel can become exciting when viewed through the eyes of a collector. So, while you should remain realistic about its value, you should also stay curious and observant. Sometimes, the smallest details can turn an ordinary coin into something truly valuable. The next up top for the 1992 Jefferson nickel is a modern U.S. coin that often gets overlooked, yet it still carries historical weight and collector interest. Featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and his famous home Monticello on the reverse, this coin continues a design that has been in use since 1938. Even in circulated worn condition, it can hold value, but not in the overnight billionaire sense that is often exaggerated online. In reality, most 1992 nickels with a P mint mark, meaning they were struck in Philadelphia, are extremely common. Millions upon millions were produced, so a typical circulated example is usually worth only its face value of 5 cents. Even collectors who carefully study coins rarely pay more than a small premium unless something truly unusual is present. However, what makes a 1992 Jefferson nickel interesting, and sometimes valuable, is not the standard coin itself, but the possibility of rare variations or errors. Coins with striking mistakes such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet issues can sometimes attract serious collector attention. These are the types of coins that can move from being ordinary to desirable. One of the most talked about possibilities is the presence of a double die error, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during minting. If a 1992 nickel clearly shows this kind of doubling, especially in the lettering or Jefferson's profile, it can be worth significantly more than face value, sometimes reaching into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on clarity and condition. Another factor that can increase value is an unusual surface appearance. You mentioned a copper side condition, which might suggest discoloration or tunning. While nickels are made primarily of copper and nickel alloy, they are not supposed to look like pure copper coins. If a coin appears copper-colored, it could be due to environmental exposure, chemical reactions, or in very rare cases, a minting anomaly. Only a true mint error version would have collectible value. Condition plays a massive role in coin value. A heavily worn 1992 nickel with scratches and faded details will almost always remain low in value. But if the same coin were found in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and original mint luster, it could be worth a few dollars to collectors who seek high-grade examples. There are also special collector sets from 1992, including proof coins made for collectors rather than circulation. These proof nickels have a mirror-like finish and sharper details. If you happen to own a 1992 proof nickel in its original packaging, it may be worth more than a regular coin, especially if kept in pristine condition. It's important to separate reality from hype. Stories about ordinary nickels being worth millions are almost always exaggerated or misleading. While rare coins can indeed sell for large amounts, those are typically unique historical pieces, extremely rare mint errors, or coins with documented provenance, not common circulated coins from the 1990s. That said, coin collecting is still exciting because valuable discoveries do happen. People have found rare error coins in pocket change before, and those moments can be life-changing on a smaller scale. The key is knowledge, knowing what to look for and how to verify authenticity. If you believe your 1992 nickel might be special, the best step is to examine it carefully under magnification. Look for doubling, unusual textures, off-center designs, or anything that looks different from a normal coin. Comparing it with another 1992 nickel can also help you spot differences. For serious evaluation, collectors often turn to professional grading services. These organizations authenticate coins, assign condition grades, and can confirm whether a coin is truly rare. A certified coin is much easier to sell and usually commands a higher price. Emotionally, it's easy to get excited about the idea of hidden treasure in everyday coins. That excitement is part of what makes coin collecting so popular worldwide. But staying grounded in facts will help you avoid disappointment and make smarter decisions about buying, selling, or holding coins. The real power of a 1992 Jefferson nickel is not in guaranteed wealth, but in the possibility it holds. It represents history, craftsmanship, and the chance, however small, of discovering something unusual. That alone gives it meaning beyond its face value. In the end, your coin is real, it has a place in history, and it can be part of a valuable collection journey. While it may not turn you into a billionaire overnight, it could still be the start of a deeper interest in rare coins, and sometimes that journey leads to far more valuable discoveries over time. The next up, top 5. The 2001 Jefferson nickel is a modern American coin that often sparks curiosity among collectors, especially those hoping to discover hidden treasures in everyday change. Featuring the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home Monticello on the reverse, this coin represents both history and craftsmanship. While millions were produced in 2001, certain rare variations and exceptional conditions can make some examples far more valuable than their face value. At first glance, a typical 2001 nickel with a P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, might not seem extraordinary. Most of these coins were made for circulation, meaning they were used in everyday transactions and often show signs of wear. In average circulated condition, such a coin is usually worth only a small premium above 5 cents, mainly to collectors filling album spaces. However, the story becomes more exciting when we look at coins in higher grades. A 2001 Jefferson nickel that has been preserved in near-perfect or mint state condition, meaning it has no visible wear and retains its original shine, can be worth significantly more. Collectors value coins based on detail, luster, and the absence of marks, and top-quality examples can sell for many dollars, sometimes even higher depending on demand. The real intrigue lies in rare minting errors. Occasionally, during the production process, something goes wrong, creating unique and highly collectible pieces. These may include off-center strikes, double die errors where the design appears doubled, or planchet flaws. If a 2001 P nickel has a dramatic and clearly visible error, its value can jump from a few cents to hundreds of dollars, or in very rare cases, even more. Another factor that influences value is the full steps designation on the Monticello building. On the reverse side of the coin, the steps of Monticello can sometimes appear weak or incomplete due to striking pressure. Coins where all the steps are sharply visible are considered premium examples and are highly sought after by serious collectors. A 2001 nickel with full steps in pristine condition can command a much higher price. It's important to understand that while stories about coins being worth millions can be exciting, they are often exaggerated. The 2001 Jefferson nickel is not known to reach million-dollar values under normal circumstances. Only the rarest coins in history, such as unique prototypes or extremely limited minting errors, achieve those extraordinary prices. Still, that doesn't mean your coin has no value. It simply means realistic expectations are key. Collectors often examine coins under magnification to spot tiny details that the naked eye might miss. Even a small doubling in the lettering or a subtle misalignment can transform an ordinary coin into something special. This is why coin collecting is both an art and a science. It requires patience, attention to detail, and a bit of luck. The composition of the 2001 nickel also plays a role in its durability. Made primarily of copper with a nickel coating, these coins are built to withstand heavy circulation. Over time, however, this can lead to wear that reduces their collectible appeal. A well-preserved coin is always more desirable than one that has been heavily used. For those who believe they have found a rare example, professional grading can make a big difference. Third-party grading services authenticate and assign a condition grade to coins, which can significantly increase buyer confidence and market value. A certified high-grade 2001 nickel is far easier to sell and often commands a premium. The excitement around coins like the 2001 Jefferson nickel comes from the possibility of discovery. Every coin tells a story not just of its design, but of the journey it has taken through time. Even a common coin can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. It's also worth noting that coin values can change over time. As new collectors enter the hobby and demand shifts, prices can rise or fall. What may seem like a modest coin today could become more desirable in the future, especially if high-quality examples become harder to find. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of coins from banks, hopping to uncover hidden gems. This process, known as coin roll hunting, is one of the most accessible ways to get started in the hobby. While the chances of finding a rare 2001 nickel are slim, the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors engaged. Understanding the difference between hype and reality is essential. While it's fun to imagine a coin making you instantly wealthy, true value comes from rarity, condition, and collector demand. The 2001 Jefferson nickel has its place in history and collecting, but it is not typically a ticket to overnight riches. That said, if your coin has unusual features such as strong doubling, missing design elements, or an off-center strike, it is definitely worth closer inspection. These characteristics can dramatically increase value and make your coin stand out from millions of others. In the end, the 2001 Jefferson nickel is a reminder that even the smallest pieces of currency can hold fascination and potential. Whether it's worth 5 cents or significantly more, its true value lies in the history it represents and the excitement it brings to those who study and collect it. The next up, top 6, the 1979 United States 5-cent coin, widely known as the Jefferson nickel, is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse, this coin represents both heritage and craftsmanship. While millions were produced, collectors often wonder if a simple coin like this could hold hidden value beyond its face. In 1979, these nickels were minted primarily at the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia typically have no mint mark, which matches your description. Despite being common, coins without a mint mark are not necessarily rare by default, as Philadelphia produced a very large quantity that year. The composition of the 1979 Jefferson nickel is not pure copper, but rather a blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gives the coin its familiar silver-like appearance, although the copper core can sometimes be seen along the edge. Many people mistake this copper edge as a sign of rarity, but it is actually standard for all modern nickels. Now let's address the exciting claim. Can a 1979 nickel make you a millionaire overnight? In reality, most 1979 nickels in good or circulated condition are only worth their face value 5 cents or slightly more, perhaps 10 to 50 cents to a collector. Even in uncirculated condition, they usually sell for only a few dollars. However, the story changes when we talk about rare mint errors or exceptional condition coins. A 1979 nickel with a major error, such as a double strike, off-center design, or wrong planchet, can be worth significantly more. These rare error coins are what collectors truly hunt for, and in some cases they can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another factor that can increase value is condition. Coins graded as mint state, MS65 or higher by professional grading services are far more desirable. A perfectly preserved 1979 nickel with sharp details, no scratches, and original luster can be worth much more than an average circulated coin. There are also specific varieties and minor errors that can add value. For example, slight doubling in the lettering or unusual die marks may attract collector interest. While these are not usually worth millions, they can still command premium prices compared to standard coins. It is important to separate myth from reality. Viral claims often exaggerate coin values, suggesting ordinary coins can be worth millions. In truth, only extremely rare coins, often one-of-a-kind errors or historical pieces, reach those extraordinary prices. The 1979 Jefferson nickel, while collectible, does not typically fall into that category. That said, the emotional and historical value of such a coin should not be ignored. Holding a coin from 1979 connects you to a specific time in history, reflecting the economy, culture, and craftsmanship of that era. For many collectors, this connection is just as valuable as money. If you believe your coin might be special, the best step is to have it examined by a professional coin dealer or grading service. They can identify any rare features that might not be obvious to the untrained eye. Sometimes, what looks ordinary can turn out to be something unique. You should also store your coin properly. Keeping it in a protective holder away from moisture and scratches can preserve its condition and potential value. Even a small improvement in condition can make a noticeable difference in price. In the world of coin collecting, patience and knowledge are key. Many valuable coins were discovered by people who took the time to learn what to look for. While your 1979 nickel may not instantly make you a billionaire, it could still hold hidden potential worth exploring. The idea that a simple coin could change your fortune overnight is powerful and exciting. While it is rarely the case with common coins like the 1979 nickel, the possibility of rare finds keeps collectors searching and dreaming every day. So, instead of seeing your coin as just 5 cents, consider it a piece of history with a story. Whether it turns out to be valuable or not, it represents a connection to the past, and who knows, with careful inspection, you might just discover something truly special hidden in plain sight. The next up, top 7, the 1983 United States 5-cent coin, widely known as the Jefferson nickel, carries a quiet but fascinating place in American coin history. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary coin featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse. However, beneath its simple appearance lies a story shaped by economic changes, minting variations, and the hidden potential that excites collectors across the world. The year 1983 was a time when the United States Mint produced millions of nickels for everyday circulation. and most of them were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with the small P mint mark. These coins were made primarily from a copper-nickel alloy, not pure copper, but their inner core gives them a slightly warm tone when viewed from the side, which many people casually describe as a copper side. This detail often sparks curiosity and sometimes leads to myths about rare compositions. Despite the large number of 1983 P nickels produced, the idea that one could instantly become a millionaire overnight from a common coin is more fantasy than fact. Most 1983 Jefferson nickels in circulated, good condition, are only worth a small amount above their face value. However, the real excitement begins when collectors search for exceptional quality or rare minting errors that can dramatically increase a coin's value. Coins graded in extremely high condition, especially those with sharp details, strong luster, and minimal wear, can be far more valuable than ordinary examples. A pristine 1983 P nickel that has been professionally graded at a very high level, such as MS66 or above, can sell for significantly higher prices compared to worn coins. These top-condition coins are rare because most nickels from that era were heavily used in daily transactions. One of the most important factors that can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible is the presence of mint errors. Errors such as double strikes, off-center designs, or unusual planchet flaws can make a 1983 nickel highly desirable. These imperfections are not defects in the eyes of collectors, but unique features that tell a story of the minting process going slightly wrong. Another fascinating aspect of the 1983 Jefferson nickel is its role in the broader timeline of American coinage. By this time, the design had already been in use for decades, having first appeared in 1938. Over the years, small design changes and minting improvements were made, but the core imagery remained the same, preserving its historical continuity and cultural importance. Collectors also pay close attention to the coin's surface quality, including its luster and strike. A well-struck coin will show crisp details in Jefferson's hair and the columns of Monticello. When these features are fully visible and not worn down, the coin becomes more appealing and valuable in the collector's market. While stories circulate online claiming that certain modern nickels can be worth millions, the truth is more grounded. Even the rarest 1983 Jefferson nickel is unlikely to reach such extreme values. However, coins with exceptional qualities or rare errors can still command hundreds or even thousands of dollars, which is a significant increase over 5 cents. The emotional appeal of coin collecting plays a major role in how these coins are valued. For many collectors, owning a rare or high-grade 1983 nickel is not just about money but about preserving a piece of history. Each coin represents a moment in time, a snapshot of the economy, craftsmanship, and daily life of that era. It is also important to understand that the condition described as good typically means the coin has visible wear. In this state, most of the finer details are softened, which reduces its collectible value. However, even in good condition, a coin can still hold interest if it has an unusual feature or historical significance. Professional grading services can help determine the true value of a coin. By carefully examining the coin under magnification, experts assign a grade that reflects its condition. This grade plays a crucial role in establishing market value and buyer confidence, especially for higher-end collectibles. For those who believe they might have a valuable 1983 nickel, careful inspection is key. Looking for sharp details, unusual markings, or any signs of minting errors can reveal whether the coin is something special. Even small differences can make a big impact in the world of numismatics. The dream of discovering a coin that can change one's fortune overnight is powerful and captivating. While it is rare for a common coin like the 1983 P Jefferson nickel to reach extreme values, the possibility of finding a unique or high-grade example keeps collectors searching and hopeful. In the end, the 1983 Jefferson nickel is a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and appreciation for history. Whether worth a few cents or a few $100s, each coin carries its own story, waiting to be discovered by those who take the time to look closely. The next up, top 8. The story of the 1984 5-cent coin, widely known as the Jefferson nickel, is not just about a small piece of metal. It is about history, craftsmanship, and the hidden potential that collectors dream of discovering. Struck by the United States Mint, this coin carries the timeless portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. At first glance, it may seem like ordinary pocket change, but under the right circumstances, it can become something far more valuable. In 1984, millions of these nickels were produced, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, which used the P mint mark for identification. These coins were made primarily of a copper-nickel alloy, not pure copper, but their edge can sometimes appear copper-toned, leading many people to believe they have something rare. While most 1984 nickels are common, collectors know that small differences, tiny errors, or exceptional condition can turn an everyday coin into a prized collectible. The truth is, not every 1984 Jefferson nickel is worth a fortune. In average circulated condition, these coins usually hold only their face value or slightly more. However, the story changes dramatically when the coin is found in uncirculated or near-perfect condition. Coins graded at the highest levels, with sharp details and no wear, can fetch significantly higher prices in the collector's market. What truly excites collectors are rare minting errors. In 1984 nickels, these can include off-center strikes, double dies, or die cracks. Such imperfections are not flaws in the collector's eyes, they are treasures. A well-preserved error coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its rarity and demand. These are the coins that spark the imagination and fuel dreams of unexpected wealth. Another factor that can increase the value of a 1984 nickel is its surface quality. Coins with a full strike, especially those showing strong detail on Monticello's steps, are considered more desirable. Known as full steps nickels, these coins are rare in higher grades and can command premium prices among serious collectors. It is important to understand that stories claiming ordinary 1984 nickels are worth millions are often exaggerated. While there are coins in history that have sold for extraordinary amounts, those are typically unique pieces with extreme rarity. A standard 1984 Jefferson nickel, even in excellent condition, will not make someone a billionaire overnight, but it can still be a valuable collectible. That said, coin collecting is full of surprises. Hidden treasures have been found in pocket change before, and the excitement of the hunt is part of what makes numismatics so fascinating. A single overlooked detail, an unusual mark, an error, or a pristine finish can transform a simple coin into something special. Collectors often advise examining coins under good lighting and magnification. The smallest details can reveal whether a coin is ordinary or extraordinary. For the 1984 nickel, checking the mint mark, the sharpness of the design, and any unusual features is essential. The historical significance of the Jefferson nickel also adds to its appeal. Introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and has remained in production for decades. Each coin represents a piece of American history, carrying the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the architectural beauty of Monticello. For beginners, the 1984 nickel can be a great entry point into coin collecting. It is widely available, affordable, and offers the possibility of discovering something unique. Even if you don't find a rare variety, the experience of learning and searching can be rewarding in itself. If you believe you have a special 1984 nickel, professional grading is the next step. Certified coins often sell for higher prices because their authenticity and condition are verified. This adds confidence for buyers and increases the coin's market value. It is also worth noting that coin values fluctuate over time. Market demand, collector interest, and overall economic conditions can all influence prices. What may seem ordinary today could become more valuable in the future, especially as high-quality examples become harder to find. Despite the myths of instant riches, the real value of a 1984 Jefferson nickel lies in its story, rarity, and condition. While it may not make you a billionaire overnight, it can still be a meaningful and potentially valuable addition to a collection. In the end, the 1984 Jefferson nickel is a reminder that even the smallest Arabic Khalif, Arabic lam, Arabic Hamzatat leaf, Arabic sheen, Arabic yet, Arabic Khalif, Arabic Hamza, things can hold hidden worth. Whether it's a rare error or a beautifully preserved example, this coin continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world, proving that sometimes, treasure really can be found in the most unexpected places. The next up, top 9, a 1998 Jefferson nickel, especially one with a D mint mark, is part of everyday United States coinage produced at the Denver Mint. It belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continues to this day. While many people imagine rare coins turning ordinary holders into millionaires overnight, the reality of modern circulation coins like this one is very different. And understanding that difference is important before believing any extreme claims. The 1998 D. Jefferson nickel was minted in very large quantities, meaning millions upon millions of identical coins entered circulation. Because of this massive production, it is considered a common date coin. In numismatics, rarity is one of the biggest factors that determines value, and this coin simply does not meet the rarity threshold that creates life-changing prices. In standard good condition, a 1998 D nickel is typically worth its face value of 5 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, where the coin looks fresh from the mint with strong details and shine, it usually only reaches a modest value of a few cents to perhaps around $1 depending on grading quality. This is far from the dramatic million-dollar claims sometimes spread online. Some coins become valuable due to mint errors, but even in the 1998 Jefferson Nickels series, significant errors are extremely rare and still do not reach extraordinary wealth levels. Possible minor errors might include off-center strikes, weak strikes, or slight die cracks, but even these are typically valued in the range of a few dollars to maybe a few $100s in exceptional cases, not life-changing fortunes. The idea of a billionaire overnight coin is more myth than reality. In the real world of coin collecting, value is built through historical rarity, demand from collectors, precious metal content, and condition grading. A modern nickel made from copper-nickel alloy has no intrinsic precious metal value that would drive it into extreme price territory. Collectors do enjoy Jefferson Nickels, but they usually focus on key dates, Silver War nickels from 1940 to 1945, or high-grade proof coins. The 1998 D does not fall into any of these premium categories. Instead, it remains part of a highly circulated series that most collectors use to complete albums rather than invest for profit. Condition does matter in coin collecting, and professional grading services evaluate coins from heavily worn, low value, to perfect mint state, high value within reason. Even in top mint state condition, however, a 1998 D nickel remains a common modern coin and does not suddenly become rare simply because it looks new. Many stories online exaggerate coin values to attract attention, but experienced numismatists rely on verified auction results and grading standards. Real auction records show that modern Jefferson Nickels rarely exceed small collectible values unless they are certified rare errors or special mint varieties. It is also important to understand that copper-nickel coins like this one are produced with cost efficiency in mind, not scarcity. The U.S. Mint designs them to circulate widely in everyday commerce, meaning their entire purpose is to remain common and replaceable in the economy. If someone claims that a 1998 D Jefferson nickel is worth millions, that claim is not supported by any legitimate coin market evidence. In fact, no standard circulation nickel from the 1990s has ever sold for anywhere near such figures in verified numismatic auctions. However, coin collecting can still be exciting. The real value lies in learning history, understanding minting processes, and discovering small variations that make each coin unique. Even a common coin can hold personal or educational value without needing to be extremely expensive. The Jefferson Nickel series itself is historically significant because it replaced the Buffalo nickel and has featured Thomas Jefferson and Monticello for decades. This makes it a meaningful part of American coin history, even if the individual 1998 D coin is not rare. For collectors, the thrill often comes from searching through rolls of coins to find higher-grade specimens or rare mint errors. That excitement sometimes leads to exaggerated online stories, but true numismatics always returns to verified facts and realistic valuations. So while a 1998 D nickel will not transform anyone into a millionaire, it still represents a piece of everyday economic history that passed through countless hands in circulation. Its real worth is symbolic and educational rather than financial at a massive scale. In conclusion, the 1998 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark remains a common modern coin with limited market value, usually just a few cents to a small collectible premium in rare cases. Its true importance lies in its role in U.S. currency history, not in unrealistic promises of overnight wealth. The next up to 10, a 2000 United States 5-cent coin known as the Jefferson nickel, often gets surrounded by online myths claiming it could turn someone into a millionaire overnight. But in real numismatic reality, most of these coins are extremely common, still circulating in large numbers, and their base value remains just 5 cents unless they show a rare minting error or exceptional condition. The 2000 Jefferson nickel was struck at two main mints, Philadelphia no mint mark and Denver D mint mark. It features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, a design that has been in use since 1938 with only subtle modifications over time. Millions upon millions were produced, which is the first reason why it is not a rare or high-value coin in normal condition. When people hear stories about million-dollar nickels, they are usually confusing rare error coins or completely different specimens from other years. The 2000 nickel does not belong to any known category of ultra-rare American coins that have fetched extreme auction prices. In standard circulated or even uncirculated condition, its value typically stays within face value or just slightly above it. However, coin collecting does have a real science behind it. If a 2000 Jefferson nickel shows a mint error, such as double striking, off-center printing, or incorrect planchet metal, it might gain interest from collectors. Even then, such errors usually sell for a few dollars to maybe a few $100s, not life-changing fortunes. The condition of the coin plays a major role in numismatic value. Coins graded as MS-65 or higher mint state condition can carry premium collector interest, but even perfect grade 2000 nickels remain relatively affordable. The idea that one could become a billionaire from this coin is not supported by any real auction records or professional grading history. The P mint mark version of the 2000 nickel was produced in Philadelphia and is extremely common. Its copper-nickel composition is standard for modern U.S. nickels, meaning there is no precious metal value hidden inside it. The copper core and nickel outer layer are designed for durability, not rarity or investment growth. Some viral internet claims suggest that certain modern coins secretly contain rare variations worth millions. In reality, numismatics is a carefully documented field, and any coin worth extraordinary money is well known, certified, and recorded in auction history. The 2000 nickel does not appear in any such category. Collectors usually focus on older Jefferson nickels from the mid-20th century, especially those with wartime silver composition from 1940 to 1945. Those coins contain 35% silver and can be worth significantly more than face value. The 2000 nickel, however, belongs to a modern era with mass production techniques. Even proof versions of the 2000 nickel, which are specially struck for collectors, are not rare in the long-term sense. They may sell for a few dollars to a small premium above face value, but again, nothing close to life-changing wealth. Their purpose is collection completeness, not investment explosion. The fascination with hidden treasure coins often comes from misunderstanding how mint production works. Every year, billions of coins are produced, and only a tiny fraction ever carry rare errors significant enough to matter. The 2000 nickel simply does not fall into that elite category. If someone claims that a regular 2000 Jefferson nickel is worth millions, it is almost certainly misinformation or internet exaggeration. Real numismatic experts rely on grading services, auction results, and verified mint records, none of which support such extreme valuations for this coin. Still, coin collecting can be a rewarding hobby. Even common coins like the 2000 nickel help collectors complete full date sets of Jefferson nickels spanning decades. The true value often lies in historical interest and completeness rather than sudden wealth. Understanding coin value requires patience and knowledge, not viral claims. Coins become valuable due to rarity, historical significance, condition, and demand, not just age or random speculation. The 2000 nickel simply does not meet the criteria for extreme rarity. In conclusion, the 2000 United States Jefferson nickel is a modern circulation coin with minimal monetary value in normal condition. While it holds historical place in the U.S. minting timeline, it is not a hidden treasure waiting to create sudden wealth. Real collecting success comes from knowledge, not myths. The next up, top 11, the 1988 United States 5-cent coin, famously known as the Jefferson nickel, carries with it a quiet yet compelling presence in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a small, everyday coin, something that passes unnoticed from hand to hand. Yet for those who pause and truly observe it, the coin becomes a gateway into a deeper story of history, craftsmanship, and the enduring legacy of American currency. On its front, the coin features the dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson, a figure whose influence helped shape the foundation of the United States. His image is not just decorative, it represents ideals of knowledge, independence, and leadership. On the reverse side lies Monticello, his historic home, carefully engraved to symbolize architectural beauty and national pride. This consistent design has made the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The 1988 version with the P mint mark tells us that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most productive minting facilities in the country. The Philadelphia Mint has produced countless coins over the centuries, and in 1988 alone, millions upon millions of nickels were struck, flooding the economy with this denomination for everyday use. This massive production is one of the most important reasons why the 1988 Jefferson nickel is not considered rare. In the world of numismatics, rarity is everything. A coin's value increases when fewer examples exist, especially in pristine condition. Because the 1988 nickel was produced in such large quantities, it remains widely available even today. The composition of the coin also tells an important story. It is made from a copper core layered with nickel, giving it both strength and its familiar silver-like shine. This mixture has been used for decades, providing durability for circulation while maintaining a consistent appearance. The mention of a copper side is simply a reference to the inner structure, not a rare or valuable variation. Still, the imagination often runs wild when people think about coins. The idea that a simple nickel could be worth millions, capable of transforming someone into a billionaire overnight, is undeniably exciting. It creates a sense of mystery and hope, as if hidden treasures are waiting to be discovered in everyday life. However, reality paints a more grounded picture. There are no verified historical records of a standard 1988 Jefferson nickel being sold for millions of dollars. The coin market is carefully studied and documented, and such extraordinary values are reserved for extremely rare coins, those with unique historical significance or dramatic minting errors. That said, not all 1988 nickels are exactly the same. Some may have minting errors that make them stand out. These can include doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or unusual surface features caused during the minting process. Such coins can attract collectors and may sell for higher prices, though typically still within modest ranges. Condition plays a powerful role in determining value. A heavily worn coin that has circulated for years will have little to no premium above face value. In contrast, a coin preserved in near-perfect condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can be more desirable to collectors and fetch a higher price. Professional grading services often evaluate coins and assign them a grade based on their condition. High-grade coins, especially those labeled as mint state, are more valuable because they represent the coin as it originally appeared when it left the mint. Even then, a 1988 nickel in top condition usually reaches only a limited value compared to truly rare coins. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories of incredible discoveries, coins found in old collections or hidden away for decades that later turn out to be valuable. These stories fuel the belief that any coin could be a hidden fortune. While such cases do exist, they are rare and usually involve coins with well-known characteristics that experts can identify. The 1988 Jefferson nickel does not belong to that category of legendary rarities. Instead, it stands as a reliable and authentic piece of everyday history. It reflects a time when millions of identical coins were produced to support a growing economy, each one carrying the same design and purpose. Yet there is still something powerful about holding such a coin. It has traveled through countless hands, witnessed years of change, and remained a constant part of daily life. For collectors, this connection to the past can be just as meaningful as monetary value. If you own a 1988 Jefferson nickel, it is still worth examining carefully. Look for anything unusual, details that seem slightly off or different from typical coins. While the chances of finding a highly valuable error are small, the process of searching itself can be rewarding and educational. The idea of overnight fortune may not be realistic for this coin, but the journey into understanding coins can open doors to a fascinating hobby. Many experienced collectors began with common coins, slowly building knowledge and discovering what makes certain pieces truly valuable. In the end, the 1988 Jefferson nickel is not a hidden million-dollar treasure, but it is a genuine part of American history. Its true worth lies not in unimaginable riches, but in the story it tells, the curiosity it sparks, and the connection it creates between the past and the present. The next up, top 12, a 1999 Jefferson nickel from the United States, is one of those coins that many people overlook in everyday life, yet it carries a quiet place in modern American coinage history. At first glance, it looks ordinary, just a 5-cent piece used for small transactions, but its story is tied to a long tradition of nickel production that began in 1938, when the Jefferson design replaced the earlier Buffalo nickel. The coin features Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back, symbolizing American heritage rather than hidden wealth. The 1999 version of this coin was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, which is why you may see either a P or D mint mark, or sometimes none clearly visible on older worn pieces. These mint marks simply identify where the coin was produced and do not automatically make one version rare or dramatically more valuable than another in normal circulation condition. In terms of composition, the 1999 Jefferson nickel is made primarily of copper and nickel layers, with a copper core and a nickel outer coating. This structure has been standard for decades and gives the coin its silver-like appearance despite not being made of silver. There is no special copper side version that dramatically increases value for this year in normal production strikes. One important truth about this coin is that it is extremely common. Hundreds of millions of 1999 nickels were minted and circulated, meaning most examples still found today are only worth their face value of 5 cents. This is a key point many collectors emphasize: rarity is what drives value, not just age or mint year. However, like many modern coins, there can be minor variations and minting errors. These include off-center strikes, weak strikes, die cracks, or misaligned features. Such error coins can sometimes bring a small premium among collectors, but even then, values usually range from a few dollars to perhaps a few dozen dollars depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Another factor that can influence value is condition. Coins that are uncirculated or in extremely high-grade condition, often graded by professional services, can be worth more than circulated ones. Still, even top-grade 1999 nickels typically remain far from life-changing amounts, usually valued in the range of a few dollars to possibly tens of dollars in special cases. It is very important to understand that no standard 1999 Jefferson nickel is worth millions of dollars. Claims about becoming a billionaire overnight from such a coin are not based on real numismatic evidence. The coin market is structured, researched, and heavily documented, and values are determined by rarity, demand, historical significance, and condition, not fantasy pricing. Some misinformation online exaggerates the value of everyday coins, especially modern nickels, by suggesting hidden treasures exist in circulation. While rare coins do exist and can be valuable, they are typically from much older periods, limited mintages, or contain dramatic mint errors that are well documented by collectors and grading institutions. The 1999 nickel does not belong to that category of ultra-rare or historically scarce coins. It was produced in large numbers as part of normal U.S. currency circulation. Even if you were to find a pristine example, its value would remain grounded in collector markets rather than reaching extreme figures. Collectors often focus more on older Jefferson nickels from earlier decades, especially wartime issues from the 1940s that contain different metal compositions, or coins with significant historical mint errors. These are the types of coins that occasionally reach high auction prices, not common modern issues like 1999. That said, collecting coins like the 1999 Jefferson nickel can still be enjoyable and educational. It helps people understand U.S. minting history, design evolution, and the small details that separate ordinary circulation coins from collectible pieces. Many collectors start with coins exactly like this before moving into rarer categories. If you ever come across a 1999 nickel, the best approach is to examine it calmly. Look for unusual features such as doubling of letters, unusual color changes, or visible minting mistakes. Even then, it is wise to compare it with verified error coin references rather than relying on viral claims or exaggerated stories. The idea that a single modern nickel could transform someone's financial situation overnight is not realistic in the actual coin collecting world. Wealth from numismatics usually comes from long-term collecting knowledge, rare acquisitions, and historical pieces that have been studied and authenticated over time. In conclusion, the 1999 Jefferson nickel is a normal but historically consistent piece of U.S. currency. While it may hold small collector interest in special conditions, it is not a hidden treasure worth millions. Its true value lies in its place within everyday monetary history rather than extraordinary financial potential.